Good morning. This is Suraj Singh, International Professional Engineer, Chartered Engineer Bharat, FI, Institute of Engineers, and this is today, 9th February 2020, a talk again on profession of engineering and civil construction for all engineers, supervisors, and others who are not connected to professionals but need information. Very important topic from practical point of view because information related to practic- practical viewpoint are rarely available in books because books are not written by professional engineers but only by professional teachers of universities and institutions who cater only for needs of students, means syllabus related books, not work related books. Work related books are very significant for practical angle because once engineer reaches site, fresh engineer, that guy understands nothing about work to be done, how it to be done, no basics with no basics knowledge equipped with engineers, and which is very important from this point of view. I was talking till yesterday about practical aspects of professionals and paraprofessionals and all of those and precautionary measures required to be taken by all those. And I have reached to some level of information that was regarding site coordinations, engineering coordinations, project coordinations, which are actually very significant from work viewpoint, but not done, not done by even by professional experienced engineers that I have experienced, though they must know that, but due to some reason I don't know how they miss that. But whatever I learned based on interactive management along with foreigners, not ours. My bad luck was that I was never involved in deep working with our country people due to whatever reason. Wherever I was interviewed by our country people, I was rejected in fact. And wherever I was interviewed by foreigners, US Arabic, British, and all those, I was welcome and I supported all them at every level. And in fact, they depended on me. This is not appreciation of self, but information that work is respected by those who do not belong to our country. Our country people are very interested in pulling legs off each other, but I'm not happy with that nature because it happens. Not only professional people, but other people too. I faced that problem in Iraq, where one of my column was out of line. Out of line is out of alignment. One wall was also there, and I had to demolish that. This was my failure, and also it happened at many locations that people are not supported fully as it should be. But talk is not to this extent. My talk is for dissemination purpose. What should be done, and that is very important. I have seen here during my last few years the quality and safety are questionable. Even if you see job of top class companies, people call top class companies of our country, I will not name them, but they are. Even I have seen work of metros, metro rail. You go and see that. There's a difference in precast work and cast in situ work. You go to any other building, you'll find same problem. You may say it has been done by international contractors, but if you see quality, it's not seen, it's not evidenced. Reason negligence. Our people, our engineers are very experienced on papers. You can see Government of India engineers, you can go and see them. 25 years experience, 30 years experience, superintending engineer, chief engineer, and talk about engineering, you'll be disappointed. I remember one time in 99, I was in Tamil Nadu, Madras, called by one Gulf organization to conduct interviews. I met during interview certain senior engineers from government, Maharashtra government, Tamil Nadu government. One was superintending engineer who must be well experienced on papers. And in fact, I just raised the question to that person. He looked at my face. I simply asked him one question. I asked him, what is concrete? And that engineer was looking at my face for to answer. He failed to answer. He did not answer anything. What next question I had to ask him? I did not ask him anything. What to do? Same thing, there was one engineer. He joined Iraq in 1981 from Maharashtra government, again superintending engineer. He reached there. He was with me. He was sitting in office sending certain slips to foremen, to others. He was given assignment to start excavation work, concrete work, building work. He failed to excavate because his style was government work. Not to stand, he could not go to that, check alignment or ask surveyor to do something. And that next day that person resigned and left. This is what I experienced. I met one engineer in Libya. This was from Desu. That was our daily electric supply undertaking. That person was from Tamil Nadu, but he was boasting too much of his activity. He was first time abroad. He was given an assignment to plan some project. He knew nothing about equipment. He came to me, please help me. What help you? I will give the assignment. I want to make bar chart of this. I asked him, can you make CPM? No, I don't know. I have bar chart only. Okay, well, I supported him, no problem. I spent many hours and he got that. He submitted that one and he was appointed principal engineer and he was very happy. What I'm telling you, do not count what level of excellence you have, because engineering is not years of experience. It is what you can achieve, what you can deliver is engineering. In our country, unfortunately, we count years, we count degrees, we count PhD, we count MTech, we count BTech, and nobody stands on site and works. That's the problem. I have seen many activities ongoing here, even in Faridabad. A network of stormwater drainage is going on. RCC box. You come and see here status of box. I have put many photographs on Facebook. I had put those photographs on a Smart City Limited company which is organizing this work. They removed those photos from Facebook. 70 photos I put them there, showing what quality of work they have been doing. They are excavating, no compaction, just putting blinding concrete on the, we call it blinding, but you may call it lead concrete, whatever. There is no check, only one staff person is there checking levels, and after that, put concrete. Steel is thrown as if it is nothing, and rusted steel they are using. No proper binding, no concrete is supplied, but no compaction, no vibrators, and they are doing this. Before 24 hours of lapse of concrete pour, they remove shutters of that box, vertical shutters, before 24 hours. I don't understand. And curing, no limit to curing. And after completing box, they fill in, put soil on that. I don't know whether we have certain professional or standard engineers or not. I am sure we have no one. And if they are just busy in offices, preparing bills, valuations, and interested only in paying money because they may be getting certain paybacks or kickbacks, we may say. This is our nation. You go and see metro, half of their electronic system do not work. And you can see so many things there. And if you see private housing, you'll get mad if you know engineering, because there's no planning, nothing. And you don't find anyone, mason engineers, carpenter engineer, everybody's engineer there. And where they see some sagging, they put some column below. There's 6 feet balcony, No support when they construct, but when say, oh, it's come down, this jhuk gayi hai, and they put some circular decorative pillar below, and this happens very commonly. Means they are spending money. I cannot say they are not spending money, but what's the use of money if it doesn't work? But I can't help it. This is happening on mass scale everywhere. You cannot tell something to someone. They will laugh or they will not care. They will simply say, oh, you come from overseas, you talk of that and this. They are using bricks which are no quality bricks. If you read what should be brick, you will not match that. It's just brick and that's all. No proper dimension, no color, and you see effluents are coming out, chemicals. Means why do you search items which do not work? And too much is still they add. Where it's not required, they add it. So why we are wasting material, I don't know. Well, I'm not talking about designs. What I'm saying is we are actually making losses everywhere at no quality achievement. Just work it. Mix concrete manually, leave it for 1.5 hours, go away, then add water and mix it little more, little more, little more, and go away. You cannot fight with people because only you can fight yourself. If you stand at sight, you can achieve something, but nobody is standing anywhere. I've not seen. And I walk sometimes to see what they are doing, but no, I don't think somebody can control them because they are contractors, they do their way. Yes, they put some railing here for safety angle, nothing else. They have helmets, they have safety shoes, they have everything. But work is unsafe, no quality, no reliability, no safety, no serviceability, no durability. This is what they are doing, and that is really astonishing. 2020, where is engineering going and where are we going? Are we really living in engineering world? And if civil engineering is like this, what about electrical? What about mechanical? What about CCTV? What about SCADA? What about building management? So many issues are there. Engineering is not just a pin, just do something you want. You have to check that pin. You have to check that circuit. Everything requires quality of concrete people don't know, quality of mortar people don't know, quality of metal they don't know. They just go on mechanically doing it. That's all. Physical work we do, and that is what engineering is all about. Nothing else. So I was talking about management, site management, triangular management, owner or employer, engineer and contractor, three parties on two contracts, executive contractors and project management engineers and owners. We are talking about construction contract and management contract, engineer to monitor job, supervise, and also design if it's a part of job, it's a part of contract. The construction contract doesn't include designs. If it is EPC, fine, it's design work. My scope in this talk is not design, it's about construction because design can be done very easily these days, not big issue, people do it, but design works only when construction is done. If construction is useless, rubbish, third class, design is third class because it doesn't work that way. So we have to apply more efforts on construction activities, and I think all engineers first do that. Even design engineers must be exposed to that. No use of designs if you don't force construction to achieve quality. Project management is also no meaning. Quality is no meaning. Nothing is meaning if you don't care for this. Cement you are using, people don't know which cement they have to use. You talk to people, which cement you prefer, there's no answer. They'll say, yes, I'm using OPC or I'm using SRC or I'm using this and that. Those 25, 30 years back talks they still make today. They do not understand anything else. They do not understand about carbon dioxide. They don't know methane. They just say, no, it's okay, fine. You're doing this. They don't know how it will affect. They don't inquire manufacturers what is alternative for steel, alternative for cement. They just go on doing that. Is that right? Being an engineer, you have to understand, you have to know, you have to realize, you have to research, you have to innovate. But nothing of this, no, nothing out of these properties Just okay, it's conventional work, we do it. Routine work, conventional work, and they're happy with that. This is all based on my experience. I am talking to you. It's no criticism. If you do not do that, for example, you take cement, which cement you are obviously are using or whatever you're using, how do you know what's content there? How much PFA is there? Or can't you replace it by GGBS? Is GGBS available or not? People ask what is GGBS? They do not even know what is GGBS, PFA, they don't understand PF. They don't try to read. And if they try to read, they don't inquire. I asked many engineers when I was on third party certification visit on some site in remote area of Jammu, one bus station was in construction. I asked him what cement you are using. OPC we are using. It's a 500 crores project. You have not done any research on this. You are using OPC. Why you are using OPC? What's the reason? No, it's done now. We are using this. We no need of asking this. We got third party consultant. We have to take our job. We have to just audit this project. Who's designer? IIT professor was proofreader, proof designer. He did not even point out. Just sign. They say this contract goes there. His design team goes there. They just prepare everything and put seal on that. That guy only signs. Professor only signs. So you see, professor level of that too from IIT. If that is meant only for signing, so this is abuse of regulations or no abuse thing. No need of checking, no need of okay, they have done it, that person is professional, that person PhD, okay, he must have done it, I just sign and take my fee. And that is working. And that TPC also wrote to the professor who did not respond anything. I asked him, I asked quality person there, what sort of cement you have used? Oh yes, we are using PFA, so many percent of PFA is there. Why are you using PFA? Do you know what is GGBS? Yes, I know GGBS. Why don't you use GGBS? Did you inquire about that? No, it's not available. GGBS is not available according to quality engineers. I asked him half an hour. What's the benefit of that? No, he didn't know about that, and he's quality engineer. So why do you employ such quality engineers who are not English or engineering oriented? Why somebody doesn't interview them? So you think can we improve quality by political statement? Can we do that? Or we just say, okay, do it, we have done it, we achieved it. It doesn't happen. So I think we are having many drawbacks in engineering profession itself. Yes, we are very good in writing papers. We are very good in conducting seminars, conferences, we do it. I am very angry sometimes. I attend many conferences, many seminars. They just give 10 minutes to 15 minutes for your paper to submit. How can you explain something in 10 to 15 minutes about engineering? Okay, you have to show some snaps, some projector, you can say PowerPoints, presentations, you show that. But does it give something to someone? If I attend some seminar and spend my whole day, 5 hours, 6 hours, just for 10 minutes submission or 15 minutes submissions, or what can I learn from someone? It's useless. Either study full or condemn it. It's not, can you make professional development in 10, 15 minutes submission? Or can you deliver lecture in 10 minutes or 15 minutes? It's not possible. Yes, few points you can do, but those who are available there, the audiences are they just to get some points? It's not that. So we have to streamline again everything. And in universities also, we have to arrange something. Professional courses are useless. Okay, there is theory. First, now it's only 4 years. There's no time to explain to them. Syllabus is too large. But who is bothering? AICTE, Teethless and Rubbish Council, Institutes of Engineers, sleeping. Who is awakened? And the government has no connection. They don't even bother about this. So what is solution? Only solution is you have to do yourself. Position of engineer is not to be guided by someone. It's a self-guiding profession, self-control profession. You are saying, I am engineer, I am this and I am that. But have you ever valued yourself? Have you ever searched yourself what you actually are? Are you disposing of functions you are supposed to do? What is purpose of engineer? What engineer got relation in society? What is your relation to nation? What is your relation to world? You are only profession where non-finished products are being used. You have to manufacture product. This is engineer and particularly civil engineer. You are manufacturing your product from natural sources, natural resources. You manufacture on site itself. Your site is manufacturing unit. You are manufacturing mortar, you are manufacturing concrete, and you are importing your manufactured item bricks or blocks from some source. So there it is manufactured. It's not machine part, it's not car parts. We have to take more responsibility. You are should be quality oriented first, safety oriented also. But you are neither safety oriented nor quality oriented. That's the problem. We just do something that people are doing. This happens. Many talks they are out. They are doing the construction building. They see building is under construction. What's behind that? Nobody knows. Nobody talks of the public. Ask probably they don't know anything. I talk to many people, doctors, others. Do you know how we do? You are saying we are testing for medical treatment. Do you know how many tests do we conduct? Nobody knows. Okay, this lack of information. But whatever we do behind scenes, we should do that rightly, and we are not doing that. So that's what I am trying to explain here. Responsibilities of those who supervise and responsibilities of those who execute or prosecute work, both are equal for me. A supervising consultant as well as site person who is doing job, both are equal. There's no difference. Both must be given equal respects. But here it doesn't happen. I am concerned, I am higher, I am government engineer, I am higher and you are lower. They forget goal is same. Good work in time, you can say cost, quality and time. These are three management top points. You must care for time, you must care for quality, and you must care for expenses, cost, and then other items. If these three are not in alignment, you cannot control project. Yes, you may produce many bar charts, colored bar charts. That doesn't serve any purpose. So you have to monitor project, monitor in every sense, not for just paperwork, for work on site, on locations. So yesterday or in last video, I was talking about what resident agents was supposed to do or is supposed to do. It was based on my some writings which were published long back when I was too young. This was published in 2009, 1996, and I was up to a point where I said I started my items, and this point number 70 was a resident engineer should not misrepresent knowingly without belief in truth or carelessly, and he should exercise same virtues as engineer in supervising sorry in supervision or supervising measuring works, extra works, preparation of post-contract drawings, estimates, variation orders, and within terms of agreement between employer and engineer. The resident engineer must note the requirements of employer so that engineer be guided to conform with regulations in case employer being a statutory body and take care not to accept favors from contractors and let matter slip through his hands. Failing to remind engineer for operation of penalty clause in case of delay or any other reason or accepted qualifications conforming to conditions where clause shall be and is operative to that imposition. Final certificate is issued on recommended shall count to a negligence on part of engineer for not deducting penalty or any other money from valuation payments, and before that was has to keep in mind on his view that no contract exists between construction contractor and engineer, but employer and construction contractor, and works have to be carried out to entire satisfaction of engineer and construction contractor has to execution of contract or construction. So far, engineer doesn't act fraudulently, deceitfully in collision with employer beyond warranty authority or under suspicions. This was last point we are talking about is question of very important item, and that is called when work is not in line to schedule. This means work is lagging behind. If there's no problem, work is lagging ahead. Lagging ahead is no problem. Problem is when lagging behind. You have to ensure being contractor as well as being engineer. You have to ensure that work should be on schedule. Schedule means bar chart or plan or scheme, whatever can you call that. Generally, it's plan in standardized words. Your work should move on S curve or on bar chart. If it doesn't move to some extent, to some tolerance, it's accepted. Because always in contracts, there is a condition of LD that is called liquidated damages. Some people use it penalty, but penalty is not recommended because penalty means a kind of criminal action. Penalty can be imposed only by law court, not by professional. Well, let us say LD, that is liquidated damages. Every contract gets this clause inserted in. This per day, so much penalty per day, or a cumulative of this much and maximum 10% or 15%, not more than that. The general clause. Generally in construction it's 10%, in mechanical it's 50% probably, but let us forget that percentage. When your project is behind, okay, for 1 week, we can say for 10 days, it can be recovered. Suppose a project of 24 months duration and it's for 4 months behind or 6 months behind, how can you tolerate that? Being site agent or contractor, being supervisor or engineer or project engineer, whatever you are, how can you see that moving without any contractual action? And what is that contractual action? Contractual action means you have to take action according to provisions within contract charter between two parties. Party one is employer and party two is contractor. Engineer is supposed to act on that, administer that one. But if he can understand, you are leaving that clause, you are not operating that one, and work is moving, and you are saying it's 6 months behind, 4 months behind. Why? What do you that? Why contractor is giving that facility? Why the organization is there? So how can I operate this? He will stop work. He shall stop work or he shall not stop work. That is irrelevant. Question is, how shall you control it then? How can you recover that program, that lost time? So if there is a problem, how to solve it? Only way is operate that clause of LD imposition, and there is a way to impose that, operate that. You have to notify contractor. You have to notify to him for 28 days, submit a recovery immediately and recover it, or we will impose LD. Imposition of LD is very serious. First of all, it proves that contract is not performing according to contract, and second, that you are recovering is earned money. Is earned money means earned percentage, earned progress. Yes, if contractor later on recovers that, it can be paid back provided no interest to be paid. This point we rarely understand. Hold that money. If you think it's beyond control, hold that money. From valuations which you have to pay or certify, that person shall come to right. What happens? Because contractors win many jobs and they want to run all jobs simultaneously, and what they do, they withdraw resources from this project, shift to other one, whatever resources, equipments and manpower or material, and they try to move those projects from where they get more money, and they ignore other projects, and then they do it to rotation so that they do not invest more money and then do day night work. So LD, I have not seen. I asked one person when I was there on that project as TPC. I just spoke him, okay, if they are not doing this, you have to do that. And that guy listened, contractor guy listened, and they were very furious. Why is taking LD? Okay, give us in writing, we applied for extension, they didn't give extension. You know what happened? There was a lapse on part of government itself, engineering, that's on the project. Contractor applied for extension of time. Why you are sitting on that paper? If there's an application, there's a move, we claim extension. Is it not duty of project engineer and government department? to consider that. Why are you holding that? He is waiting for answers. Give him answer, give response. That project manager of contractor told me, we have written, they have not answered. Why should I worry about that? So my date of completion has already expired. So why should I worry about this? Whose fault is that? If date of contract completion expires and you are running project, you are sleeping. You are saying we have verbally agreed that we will deal with this project on that day. What is meaning of that verbal agreement? Does verbal statements work on projects? No verbal statement works on project. It's question of future disputes. Dispute resolution mechanism, that's arbitration. Because there is no temporary arbitration on site. You are not listening to an engineer. You are doing your way. And government managers are involved, government officers are involved. And you know what government people do? They never decide. Because if government people decide, it's against their respect, their nose. They never decide, they keep on hanging. So it was an issue there, big issue. Then a meeting was conducted. I was there. I asked him one question. When you are delivering this project, they said, we don't know. Site agent, project in charge of contractors told me, I don't know. You don't know when shall we deliver this project? What for we are here then? What should we talk? When we don't know date of completion of this project, when you are going to deliver is, what's the meaning of this management meeting? There's no meaning. You are meeting with us for what? To have a cup of coffee or tea or soft drink? You are not able to tell me when you deliver project, what should I do here? I asked project engineer, what do you want to say? Project engineer means project in charge from government end. So we should not do then. Why are you wasting time? I will not come again. There's no meaning. And we sent mail. I forced my assistant, this was the TPC. He was not writing mail to government. Why you worried? No, my senior has to say, do you confirm this? Okay, you send mail and I'm taking responsibility. Government must decide. Why don't you decide? What's meaning? How can you run project without any absolute date? How shall you handle it in future? If contractor raises claims, what basis you have to encounter those claims? These are all issues. For you, it may be nothing. You are today in seat, tomorrow you are not in seat. But who shall suffer? Party shall suffer, employer shall suffer, contractor shall suffer. Contractor can raise claims. Now what do you do? The project engineer asked me, what claims they can raise? What claims? You are not giving him date. You are not confirming extension. His contract is over and he is working for you for what? First of all, he can raise that claim itself. My contract was over. I planned this force to go somewhere else. I could not send this resource somewhere else. So this is my additional expenses. How shall he manage that? These people do not understand. And that's why generally government fails in arbitrations and other party gets benefit. So how can you handle such issues? Engineers do not understand contract. Government least bothers. And contract is contract. You can't help it. It's a document. It's a charter between two parties. And there's arbitration clause. Arbitration means a separate contract. It's not part of contract. It's insertion, amendment of arbitration into this contract, which is even if you resign contract, arbitration part cannot be resigned in this law. You say, okay, we resign this contract, we will work on other part, we will pay something else, at your risk and cost will do it. Even then arbitration does exist. This is so engineers have to learn this. I know CPW engineers and others, they know all this, but they don't know only that, they don't know practicality. It happens problem where engineers don't know anything. They know specifications, they don't read, they don't go into details, they don't conduct tests, they just move around and come here and there. But where their legs can be pulled, their head can be broken, they do not know that. That's the reason I'm talking all this, so that particularly those pragmatic middle-aged engineers must know what they are. Simply talking is not enough, and communication is very important. writing skill, which generally engineers do lack. Yes, they can talk a lot, but they don't write a lot. They avoid writing. They neither read documents in details, nor they write, nor they include complete specifications. They leave it to others. And supervision, you know what it is. So that's what I was talking about. What are a resident engineer or government engineer? You may say government engineer, no problem to me. So I was saying, failing to remind engineer for operation of penalty clause or liquidate damage in case of delay or any other reason or accepted qualifications conforming to conditions where clause shall be and is operating to imposition, final certification is issued, recommended, shall count to negligence on part of engineer for not deducting LD or penalty or any other money from valuation payments. Then resident engineer should not accept substandard materials, workmanship, unless engineer signals clearance for that. Engineer has to present to employer or user honor a completed contract in all respects and manners. Well, this is normal. Must question variation at time of proposal of alternatives by construction contractor and shall avoid misunderstanding on part of construction contractor that he expects extra payments. In case construction contractor is not notified about defects, it shall be understood that work in general is satisfactory as far as workmanship standards are related. Variation at time of proposal of alternatives. This is very general and it is professional also. What happens sometimes, contracts are very smart, we know. If I have intelligence level 1, contract has intelligence level 10. He can bring 10 solutions if I can 1, because they are experts in their field. They know how to play with. What happens that whatever the specification gives you, whatever should be done, one can bring another solution in name of value addition. I can deliver better than this what you have provided for, or this way I can do it. And you can accept that provided it meets requirements of specifications and standards, and also provided that no cost variation applies with. That should be in writing. Sometimes you ignore that and you accept what proposal is made by contractor. It can cause problem in future that you agreed with that and this is my variation. This happens, so we have to be careful about that. There should be no variation, particularly on plus side, plus end. No additional payment in lump sum contracts. What usually happens, even if there is some extra payment, you have to try that. Okay, you are getting here and I give you here, I withdraw from that. Means adjustments can be done on various items. In this item you are getting benefit, in this you are losing, so it equals. That can be done. Otherwise there is problem. It happened within one project. It was a rocky area in Doha long back when I was going to make one school building, and it was mentioned in the specifications that we have to ensure bearing capacity on site is this tons per meter square. And it was not necessary to go down to 2 meter, 1.5 meter, not necessary. If it's rock area, we were excavated, and I felt that there's no further need going down. We are getting good hard rock. We tested, got bearing capacity well, it's within the limits. So they agreed not to go further down, and we were building, rested building on that. But there was a difference in excavation. We excavated less. So this is we do saving. How you give it back? You see, you first of all, you alternate your drawings, change these drawings for this record. You're not following drawings, you're not doing that. So we have to submit this. And this is the saving. What has to do with saving? So that money was adjusted. We had to pay back that money, or it was adjusted some other items. This happens. Those who are British people, very smart people in this way, they understand contracts. I have noticed this. A chartered engineer, he was there, Robinson. Nigel Robinson, very smart guy, talking in the way I actually learned part of my from him also. I didn't know contract. I didn't know how to talk about contract, but they were talking this smartly. This cloud operates like this, you have to apply this and that, this works like, and his writing was contract oriented because they are taught like this. They are forced to learn that because generally they are consultants. These British guys generally they are consultants, so they can impress you about their contractual knowledge in addition to engineering knowledge. So we have to consider part of law or contract laws, arbitration laws, labor laws as engineering syllabus. Otherwise, a part of engineering syllabus don't consider, you will never learn in life because you will be busy after getting your degree and you won't take interest in the profession when you're in field because you're too busy working 14 hours, 16 hours a day, too tired, and you don't look on books, read them or get information. So we have to be smart enough to find time. Yeah, come on. So I said the resident engineer should not accept substandard work. Okay, fine. Must question variation. Okay, there's a talk. Employer takes over part of work before completion. Practical. Okay. Employer takes over a part of work before complete practical completion. Just one for one. Before practical completion of whole contract, resident engineer has to check amount of deterioration due to wear and tear of taken over works. Construction contractors shall not be supposed to maintain part of handed over works for additional period as final completion shall be given in one go. Yes, it's a point when there are so many ancillary buildings or parts in a project in contract, maybe 10 buildings, 15 buildings, 5 buildings, small or big, it happens. But completion period is one, no different completion periods. So sometimes what happens, the priority building is here. On the one side, you deliver me this first, and he gets that one say 6 months in advance. You can deliver that. Okay, we issue this building to you, take it over, and issue part completion of that. In this way, that final completion date, which is for whole project, remains same, but maintenance responsibility is reduced for that particular building because in contract generally 400 days period is counted or as defined means not necessary. That is the maintenance period starts on the practical completion. Practical completion means mechanical completion, which starts when you declare project is practically completed. And if you sum up to that maintenance period according to your contract, which is 365 days or 400 days or whatever, and when successfully you complete maintenance period, that date is called final completion. So final completion is impacted upon in the case when you deliver building in advance. This is what I'm talking about. So that final certification for that portion which is released early can be impacted upon. So yeah, that's what is informing. The resident engineer must be careful in forwarding estimates of additional works to employer directly or through engineer as responsibility for taking care shall go to engineer ultimately. All right. Estimates of additional works means extras, something or omissions and additions. That is very common and it happens and which go on. But details must be submitted in time in addition to notification. After that is should refer matters. Resident area should matter refers to on which doesn't possess special skills to engineer. Resident engineer should refer matters on which it doesn't possess special skills to engineer or his specialist and await instructions and comments and see that assistants are fully instructed all times and every associate draws as much experience from job as possible to enhance learning withstanding errors by human but should assist him should be assistant reiterate mistakes, then resident engineer shall take necessary action. So means there are so many specialists working on projects, so you have to take their services. That's what I'm saying. Now I am moving to contractual legal aspects. Contractual legal aspects are very important. Who I joined? Let me see. Engineer Amit is there. Welcome, Mr. Engineer Amit. Welcome. You are here. Contractual legal aspects. Resident engineer is not a competent engineer as far as management contract is concerned, but an agent of engineer for engineering cannot exercise his judgments but to exercise supervision control for job designed by engineer. As I said before, once again like this, resident engineer is not competent engineer for management of contract management and is concerned, but an agent of engineer, he is acting as representative of engineer. We call representative an agent also for engineer and cannot exercise judgments but exercise supervision control because resident engineer is supervisor actually for whole project on behalf of contractual engineer termed as engineer. Resident engineer cannot deviate drawings. Yes, that's right. Cannot touch drawings. Whatever drawings are approved must be implemented. Act as an arbitrator, sanction extras, and act as follows. Nothing of this can do. Resident engineer cannot deviate drawings, cannot act as arbitrator, cannot sanction extras, and cannot act as final judge. In disputes regarding workmanship and its signatures are significant to engineer only. This is what says when you are representative, you are representing you are an attorney, you can say, of your principal, and principal is an engineer. You have to take approval for every such act which you are going to do on site, but through you only site moves. That's also important. Practically on site and per general conditions of contracts, for site operations, all responsibilities of control are fully delegated to resident engineer, treated as chief person on that site and without whom nothing can move, and multitude of problems are solved by regional engineer, but all on responsibilities and legal liabilities of engineer. Does it not look ridiculous as post carries so much attractions for engineers in field but values in real term is nil? Well, it is fact, can't avoid that. Now let's talk about architectural engineering consultants. Resident engineer on big jobs must have architectural engineers with him to check works related to disciplines on site, whether conforming to design standards and no aberrations happen. Architect has to make certain workmanship of various finishing items per specifications being carried out and to suggest or advise resident engineer on various aspects of alterations in finishes in case engineer opts for making savings. Architect has to issue post-architectural instructions through project coordinator and resident engineer. Architect may be delegated to work as project coordinator for a particular section, contractor on job, in which case architect shall dispose all duties as resident engineer for that particular phase of job and report to resident engineer. Architect shall supervise works frequently and collect all information during inspection and from clerk of works and for disputes discussed with resident engineer for settlement. In case absence of structural details and required urgently, in case of absence of structural details and required urgently, coordinator shall request structural engineer or consultant for same and dispose details to contractor to resident engineer with a covering memo. Similarly, all related details as required during execution shall be provided to construction contractor in post-contract timings for purpose of operations as missed during design stage by engineer but are not susceptible to claims. So this is normal procedure means on small project architect is there, structural engineer is there, architect or engineer who both can handle supervision. It's not big deal. Everything is written. And if they are really professional, they are well educated, they can be deployed there. Ultimately, specialists are always there. So it's not going to cause any havoc if you architect takes responsibility on site, but generally it doesn't happen. For structural items, I've seen that, and it happens there because if some architect interferes in structural work, he is stopped directly. I have seen this. Structure is a structure and architecture is architecture. Yes, architecture may be knowing something, but that's elementary. Architect is not expert of of designs of structures, whereas engineer is not expert of finishes. This is true. Yes, we learn. Learning is one thing, but application is another thing. Quantity we can find out, but all finishes keep on advancing every day. We do not, until we apply ourselves, we do not know. Example is epoxy flooring. It's just not new in these days, but it is something different than what we learned in our engineering. Application of epoxy, application of rubber flooring, application of, you can say, epoxy paints, application of thermal paints, and so many are the resins, special items, sports flooring. If you are expert of that, you have learned application of that, you can do it. Otherwise, you have to import certain applicator and use it. I remember I was there in Doha in 84, 85. I didn't know about that. I was I was working on a school development project. 5 schools were there, and there were playgrounds. In every school, you find playgrounds, football, football playgrounds, basketball, table. Means you can say sports surfacing was required in every school. 5 sports surfacing were to be done. I did not think about that. Yes, there's a bitumen road. On that, you have to apply this surfacing for games purpose. So what we was a condition was that material was purchased from France. So many items were there in their technical names, resi, speed, this and that means. And one engineer was also, he was also procured there from there, was brought from there for purpose of training our people. So that man came, French guy. He explained to us. He demonstrated this. He completed some sports surfacings and also some epoxy floorings. He did that himself, and our people, our workers learned that, and I was also there. So how they work, we had to see, and then we had to repeat same. That was sports surfacing, epoxy flooring, 1 mm thick flooring, 3 mm thick flooring. I had to train myself as well because this was something new for us at that time. This happens, means we have to learn. Also, many applications learn on site. That becomes parts of your knowledge, and this is called professional development. Means your workers learn, you learn. Examples for it happens that you have to learn waterproofing itself. So why are you taking the waterproofing are so different? Means there is an area where there's chances of fire. For example, refinery is there, or some plant is there which can catch fire in air itself because of particles, vapors moving in air. You don't know. There's vaporization in air itself, and it can catch fire. So you cannot use torch-based waterproofing in that area. You have to use coal application. It works like that. So we have to see this. What type of paint is there? How it works? What type of plaster is there? Rendering or plaster? People even don't know the difference between two. Plastering is the inside, rendering is the outside. It is everywhere. Means technology is technology. We have to understand that. So for that purpose, specialization is required. It's not question of architect or engineer. This is very, very small term, very, very obsolete term, you can say. You keep on making engineer, they keep on making architect. That's all. Well, now, structural engineer and consultant. Resident engineer on big jobs must have structural consultants with to assist in supervising operations of that discipline and make available structural clarifications, details for additional works, other details required on site to scrutinize pro- proposal set forth by contractor agent. Structural engineer shall check all materials from structural viewpoint in case of being delegated responsibility as project coordinator also for a particular contract shall dispose all responsibilities of resident engineer and report to resident engineer for advice in taking instructions. So it says a structural engineer is a must because there are so many conflicts in the structural design itself. You have to ensure that structural and architectural along with services move together. Working drawings are issued, those working drawings must really be working. You have to read, you have to study architectural details and structural details together along with services. Particularly service may not be available in beginning, yet you have to study them, architectural and structural together, particularly in complex project, multi-story project, where different designs are available. Then you have to, your basic requirement, you have to produce architect demands. Basic is that. Whatever architect desires, engineer has to do that. But drawing should be consistent, not conflicting. There could be conflicting structural details or conflicting architectural dimension could be different. There are elevations difference there. The structural details are again. So you have to coordinate that way. And even after that, something happens, you are not able to do the job. Some clash is there, maybe landing beam is there or not there, what sort of stair is there. Everything requires to be checked. Sometimes upstands are there not giving clearly. We have to see that. And in some cases, there may be some small differences. You're finding mismatch, and you have to proceed before avoiding sending complete to structural engineering head office somewhere. Better think on that, discuss and propose it and get approved. That is done when structural engineering is available on mega projects. So it's higher responsibility for site agent, not only site engineer, but project engineer or structural engineer or architect. Both are there and can resort to save time and record red line change is there. If we agree for something, if we have decided this on site as team that we should do this way, that must be recorded as changes, red line documents, which red lines means once approved must be incorporated on permanent drawings. Those are called record drawings. A set of handing over drawings, that is called means drawings for record, which would be used for maintenance purpose for whole duration until that structure serves. That's purpose of as-built drawings, which is a must, but only overseas. In our country, there is neither red line nor record lines, nothing, and even design drawings are scrapped, thrown away. Nobody knows what happens. A structure there, you see structure finishes, enjoy building, beautiful building, attractive building. What if finishes are here? That's it. Now, civil works engineer consultant. Resident engineer on a big project of complexes shall have with him a civil works engineer looking after infrastructural disciplines as well as road and surfacing operations on job, and also be project coordinator for a particular contract on same job. He shall see into all related items and act on behalf of resident engineer for contact looked after by him and report to resident engineer for advice and taking instructions whenever required. Okay, this is normal. Means road work, infrastructure means piping work, water supply work, firefighting system. All are extras in major projects. You have to see that. Means electrical cables coming in, or maybe transformers, substation, and minor works, water tanks, reservoirs, fire water tanks, so many issues are there. Mechanical engineering consultant. Mechanical engineer is required to look into disciplines related to mechanical engineering for assistance of resident engineer and shall check all machines and equipment submissions along with system and all drawing submittals for work. Mechanical engineer shall recommend all submittals for approvals and supervise all specialized operations on site in person, as clerk of work of civil engineering may not have expertise for same and issue details as and when requested by contractor or resident engineer or project coordinator, and test all systems of mechanical discipline per contract clause. Electrical engineering consultant similarly shall have electrical consultants with RE after electrical discipline submittals as applicable on contract, supervise, issue instructions to contractor through RE regional engineer, test, inspect all duties, similar duties. Plumbing engineering consultant, resident engineer shall have a plumbing engineer to assist. Actually, plumbing engineer is also a mechanical engineer to assist resident engineers depending on size of job and checking all submittals and test and Applicable internationally, plumbing engineer means they are just considered mechanical engineers. They do plumbing job. Not necessarily civil also can do, but generally mechanicals are there. And similarly, structural steel work is also done. Erection is done by mechanical engineers. Design is done by civil engineers. But here is different. Quantity engineering. Quantity engineering consultant. Every resident engineer shall have quantity engineering consultant with him to investigate valuations proposed by construction contractors for works carried out on contracts monthly, every month, to check extras, to advise for variations on costs, to resident engineer to make estimates for additional works required. You may say it's a kind of ordinary quantity engineer as well as claim quantity engineer to check all analysis of rates proposed by construction contractors or agents for items claimed extras on contract. Operate contract clause detailing with extension of times, imposition of penalties or liquidated damages to advise resident engineer on all contract conditions, to measure quantities on site, to check materials delivered by contractor on site for inclusion into secured payments, to examine invoices and day works presented by contractor's agent, quantity engineer, etc., but not limited to this only. Experienced quantity engineers or surveyors are found to be very competent and usually delegated as contracts engineer or surveyors or claim surveyors, and complete knowledge of contracts should be a great help to quantity engineer, shall also assist resident engineer and engineer. Quantity engineer has to look after costing and examination of financial aspects related to all disciplines. This quantity engineer consultant is actually something alien to ourselves, but that is reality, and they are really quantity engineers, you can say. So once again, I read it for you because it is a little complex paragraph. Every resident engineer shall have quantity engineering consultant with him to investigate valuations proposed by construction contractor for works carried out on contracts every month, and to check extras, another part, to advise for variation on costs, to resident engineer, another part, to make estimates for additional works required, to check, okay, this is another part, to check all analysis of rates proposed by construction contractors or agents for items claimed extras on contract, this is also another part, to operate contract clause dealing with extension of time, this is also another part, imposition of penalties or liquidated damage, this is also another part, to advise resident engineer on all contract conditions, this is another part, to measure quantities on site, this is another part, to check materials delivered by contractor on site is also another part, to examine invoices and day works presented to him by contractor is also another part, but not limited to. In this, you know, all these claims and extension of times and liquidated damages and all that quantification or material deliveries, all these are very clear. But here's one point that I want to just add. This is day work, I said. That is what means day work is. I said here invoices and day works presented to him by contractor agent. What day work is? It's something term which many people may not be knowing. What happens? Suppose there is no formula available, there is no information available, and suspension is involved on project. Or you cannot find how to pay on certain item because that item is not a part of bill of quantity, neither is a part of contract because it's lump sum contract. But that work has to be done. There is no way how to calculate that price for that item. Neither contractor is able to, nor engineer is able to, and both are not in a condition to agree on that part. What's best solution for that? Best solutions, real measurements of everything. Measurement of material, measurement of human resources, and whatever is then measurement of whatever is involved and contractors involvement. In that case, what is done for that activity every day from morning till evening, you have to measure, you have to keep an eye on that, you have to put someone to record what is quantity of material being used, what number of hours workers are employed with, and if there's some other expenses on that, you have to record that every day. You note it, record it, and get approval from site guy of consultant or a resident engineer and submit it. For how many days done, you have to do that. Every day submission of that record is known as day work. When there is no way to measure that, no way to name that, no way to unify that. Unification is not possible, quantification is not possible, but record entry is possible. So record entry of materials, resources, and whatever else in then addition of your own involvement, that is submitted as day work. This is a contractual term. It's not new term, but it's just a refreshing advice. Then we say, it says, office staff. A resident engineer needs sufficient staff to assist himself in filing records, typing, dictation, accounts, maintenance, and for drinks or to serve to staff and visitors for refreshment. This is very normal in international contracts. This is not nothing new. Inspectors, clerk of works or COWs we call them. Let's say task of continuously supervising activities or works is done by clerk of works, or you may say inspector these days. COW is a term that is very British old term. Clerks of work, or you may say inspectors, or inspectors for resident engineer. In fact, generally inspectors are well experienced persons in trade and stand at same level as full-fledged foremen of construction contractors organizations. Clerk of works must possess skill of building works and advise resident engineer or coordinator whether something is done wrong, when it is wrong, and what way that is to be corrected. COW means clerk of work, must be able to judge quality, workmanship, and finishes of works and advise resident engineer or consultants whether same conforms with or to specifications and usual trade practice or convention and to contract requirements. COWs are generally aged person or experienced person, and it's really tough for contractor to aberrate instructions submitted by COW, and should best inspectors resident engineer have a lot of site headaches can be taken over by that person for supervision control, and young COWs or inspectors on other hand are found problematic to match standards as degree of flexibility is low and practical experience lacks. Guy must not be enough Guy may not be enough tactful as job requires. May quick think He may quick think of better way, but not be able to get it done his way, and conflict generates. Good inspectors are rare, and resident engineers should back up good inspectors as they have a very difficult task to perform or undertake, and should their instructions be countermanded by seniors or resident engineer, authority of inspector or CW shall be destroyed over contractor. And you may say quality engineers or inspectors also constitute that type of job these days, because COWs means a quality person, so is quality person these days. But there's a little difference. COW takes responsibility also. COW means because of experience, that person doesn't point it out only, but proves it, do it like that. If required, he can make additional submissions to you. You can do like that. But this is the difference between that experienced person and today's quality inspectors. Today's quality inspectors only intend to check, nothing else. That's the difference. They just want to fulfill forms and sign and do not know what job is. It happened with me in project that this quality engineer came to me, your project, about I was going to construct some slab, waste slab and landing of some steering. There's a problem here. What problem is here? This cover is not enough. It's not taking that. You can't complete like this. So what should I do? He could not answer. You are pointing a mistake. You also give a solution if you are quality engineer. No, I don't know. So what? You don't know. Okay, come on, tell. I know how to do. How many covers are there? I asked for one cover. Okay, keep one more. Or keep one more. So, is this no solution? Still is in position. What's the purpose? It still should remain in position. It is in position. What else you want? Why say just having title is not adequate? You must know job. You are just saying you do it, do whatever you want. You have to tell someone because that person is not very well educated, but technically he knows. You have to support that person. You are supposed to know solution. If you cannot give solution, you are not an engineer. I will just check it, it's not answer. Quality system doesn't mean that. It means you support it. You are a part of system. That person is layman. Maybe that person doesn't know anything. You have to help that person. This is job of engineer. If I can help, why can't you help? Well, so this is what I said here. Authority of inspectors shall be destroyed. What does it mean? It means if this COW proposes something on site and does it that, and you come and overrule that, that's not a professional way. Because this person is also very well experienced, maybe more than you. So do not erode authority of that person. Similarly, we should not erode authority of quality engineer provided quality engineer is competent. You have to maintain authority, do not erode it. This is what is required. Then a bad inspector may upset good working. A bad inspector may upset good working relation between agent and resident engineer, and consequently, resident engineer shall have a difficult problem in hand. The inspector must be tried to move from one section to another till finally settles or the adjusts or otherwise services withdrawn from well, this is something else. If you don't work, you have to be shifted from one place. There's nothing wrong with that. When you are working on projects, there is no question of your face, no question of your, there's no friendship, nothing, as far as job is concerned. An inspector is supposed to go around site frequently, and every part of site must be inspected under his charge daily, and activities supervised to close by him, and comments be made in daily diary. I have discussed diary before. If you go to previous videos, you will find explanation of site diary, which is nothing but daily job record. Inspector shall report of all machines working, ideal and working both, work persons present on site, materials delivered, activities going on and completed, and all report in general. This report should be given to resident engineer or coordinator every day to apprise them of works conditions. Whenever required, resident engineer shall arrange for overtime supervision of operations by deployment of inspectors. Frequently, in hot seasons of high day temperatures, concrete pouring activities are undertaken either in early morning hours or at night hours, and resident engineer must deploy required supervising staff for that purpose, and COW is a choice. Practically all operations for Preparatory works for concrete pours are checked by COWs on behalf of resident engineer and for assistance and assistance of specialist engineers. Preparatory works shall include level controls. Number one is level controls for slab I'm talking, form erection, placement of steel reinforcements, electrical conduits and routes, blockouts for services and all miscellaneous. Final approval of pour cannot be given by inspector as it is structural matter and authenticity lies with structural consultants only. Indoor, indoor duty of inspector is very limited and most of times remains on location of concrete or site you can say. Inspector shall not be included in site meetings. Inspector is supposed to follow instructions of resident engineer, coordinator and consulting engineers from time to time. An inspector deals on site directly with foremen, gangers or crew, assistant engineer, site engineer, but should not officially pass any instruction to them or any of them, but advice. As far as deviation for job is concerned, but for supervision of works per drawings, inspector has full authority to act, should not interfere with site engineer or agent manage program, but ask for programs to ascertain his own timings. A good inspector may help run jobs smoothly and a relief to resident engineer and others. This is job of COW or inspector, which are actually power drivers. Foremen and inspectors are power drivers of whatever project because they are on site, they have to take practical decisions, but in conformity with project details and project approvals, and they can move together. There are flexibilities, there must be flexibility in both approaches. You cannot be always rigid because rigidity don't work, sometimes doesn't work. Hundreds of people work on site and you cannot say work should be same from every workman. There can be errors that must be rectified, corrected. There may be something else. You have to agree on site. That practice must move, and that's purpose supervision. Yes, there will be conflicts. You say one thing, that guy says one thing, but justification must be there. You have to talk, you have to refer to specifications on site itself, books are available. There may be misunderstandings, you have to check that. You can set timings of work, timings of site, activity, and it should be done timing overtimes or how should be done. Concrete is very important item which is generally done either morning time or evening time or during night, and that is difficult activity actually, and particularly in those hot regions where hot concrete, hot temperature is not allowed because of structural implications of that. People do not understand this. I'm just explaining, not written here. Temperature maintenance of green concrete is very significant. Green means concrete not set yet. That's called green concrete. Don't be confused with the green technology. And particularly in those elements of structure which are massive. Massive means blocks, massive blocks or thick slabs or fast quantity, fast rapid pouring concrete where mixed truck by truck and truck by truck after 5 minutes, 10 minutes arrive. That is very important to be controlled. And controls are not just you have to take slump, you have to first you have to inspect docket of that delivery, what time it started from mixing plant and what time it reached here. Was it a breakdown on road? Then what is slump of that? Slump is very important. And then what is temperature of that? And all other requirements, air voids. Once you are happy with that, it's okay, fine, conforms, you can allow entry of that truck. And here sometimes problem appears. That has to be resorted. Then you have to lay concrete according to your pre-planned methods, and where both are there, clerk work inspector and site foreman or site engineer. This you have to decide all through concrete how it should be done, and there can be, you can say, breakdown that you have to manage. You must pre-plan everything. What should be frequency of your mixers, transfer mixers to come from there, depending upon quantity of pour and frequency of trucks. All this must be discussed without causing any problem. And this is because rapid exercise, it has to be very consultative. There should be activities which must be done in a professional way, and opening of forms must be avoided. This you have to work based on your knowledge, your experience, for which clerk of work is there, inspector is there, you are there. And this is a unification work. This is a work which needs coordination. It happens people are enthusiastic that time. They don't care for quality because it's a hard work. They are working in concrete, wearing gumshoes, and they are physically working very fast. They are tired. A parallel arrangement must be there for standby, vibrator, standby people, and refreshments. All need attention of site people. But sometimes they least bother about that because this is not part of method statement. And method statement must be there. How shall we plan this? Because once you lay concrete which is not acceptable, there is no solution for that. You do right, that's fine. But once you lay that and there is some problem, even curing, there's no solution. Remember this. Now, working relations. Resident engineer and contractors agent must have good and trustful working relations. A resident engineer and contractor agent both are equal at site. In beginning, both are unknown to each other and intend to know each other as soon as possible. Contractors agent shall like to know general characteristics and behavior or conduct of resident engineer towards job, and same way resident engineer shall like to know about agent's conduct, whether guy is technically intelligent and practically sound and dynamic. It should be kept in view that both persons are professional members and professionally qualified and have to protect their clients and interests of clients within professional limits and codes of conduct, along with guidance. Once resident engineer realizes that trust can be placed on this person or agent realizes that resident engineer is reasonable enough and doesn't harass unnecessarily. As a practical approach engineer, job has a good luck and contractor shall be lucky for execution of job and the smooth running of project. Agent will like to receive all instructions before time of work is carried out and not after start of work. Agent shall like to receive all instructions before time of work is carried out and not after commencement of work or in mid or when activity is completed. Agent shall never expect resident engineer to interfere in contractor's internal administration and control measures, and in control of subcontractor or sub staff without permission of agent. Similarly, resident engineer of staff shall not discuss about job with foremen or gangers or crew members. Agent expects resident engineer to explain to him about any complaint before channelizing so that agent could take care of corrections. If aberrations do take place, do happen, no agent prefers a resident engineer who is always rigid, always limiting to specifications and procedures on every small matter, and doesn't bother about practical aspects of construction. Both top engineers of respective parties to contract should make one thing very clear, that they are working for a common goal, and resident engineers should adjudicate in a way right and fair to both on technical skills and knowledge acquired from profession. Welcome to Engineer Akash and Guljar Ahmed. Well, a resident engineer shall observe performance of contract in early stages of contract, during submission of materials and shop and working drawings, which shall naturally be carried out by agent. I read it again. Resident shall observe performance of contract in early stages of contract, during submission of materials and shop drawings and working drawings. Submittals I have already discussed, I'll explain, which shall naturally be carried out by agent. Agent shall also be judged by resident engineer in a way of mobilization of site is carried out and site excavation is carried out. Liaison is done with statutory bodies and contract construction program is submitted in due time as specified in contract conditions. This is a very important period of at least 2 months on site from contract commencement date for an agent to demonstrate his capabilities of administration and consolidating position, which impact positively on contractor's status. Yes, these are very important sections to re-understand. And there is, when you start some project, according to general conditions, specific conditions, and according to systems on contracts, construction contracts particularly, as a contractor, before even bidding, you must have complete preparation. And that preparation is that because you have submitted your cost, your price based on certain materials, certain equipment, work assistant, you must have complete details of that. You must have a backup of that from your vendors, suppliers, or your subcontractors, whosoever they are. When you start a project of award, you must be ready in all respects. You cannot take time there because generally mobilization period means 1 month from date of start or date of award, and only 14 days are allowed for submission of your plan, or you can say program. These are very important factors, important activities. Means you have to start a program immediately after you have awarded. This means you must have a program backed one at time of tender or bid. That must be understood based on your contract documents. That program must go to engineer within a period of 14 days, which can confirm that you are ready with project preparation and submissions. What is submission? Program submission is one part. Another part is sources submission, resources. You have to submit one resource, material. Second resource is human resources, and also drawings resources and equipment resources. All information must go. Equipment resources, human resources as histograms would go along with your bar chart or your program or schedule level 1, or you may say master 1. It is master 1 or level 1 that must go in 14 days time, or you may take some extra time. It depends. It depends whether you have a detailed or complicated program, or how many drawings were issued or not issued. Well, that's a different one. Then you have to submit materials. Materials means, why do you submit materials? For approval. And on contracts, there may be list given to you that you have to use these materials, out of these materials, permanent equipment for permanent one. Concrete, aggregate, your sanitary equipments, furnitures, steel, tiles, which cement, all these are there. Not one, hundreds of materials. Sometimes they issue along with bid document a list of material, and there are various vendors for that. You have to opt out one of that. You have to submit that one. And if list is not given, you can submit your way, but that must conform to applicable specifications, whichever specifications are there, that specification must be in line to your requirement. It doesn't matter to use your own specifications, you can use foreign specifications if it's admissible. And your material, whatever you submit, you have to give details of that material, what's name, what's manufacturer's name, where is manufacturer located, is there any developed problem future or no, and it conforms to list of material or to specifications. And even if list of materials there, it must be in line to specifications. That is called material submittal. And sample is also required if it is available, and you have to submit all those in 60 days period of date of award of contract. And also then, this is material part, it's very big part, very long part. We say that it will be submitted in 60 days, but that is statement only. I am sure it will continue for another 6 months and moves on. Nobody can do it. There are so many material equipment are there. AC equipment, HVAC, package unit, electrical substation, switch gears, transformers, many more electronic equipment. Sometimes you don't know what to submit, and sometimes you submit it's out of delivery, out of manufacture. This happens. So don't go to that complication. Just learn means you have to do that. You have to submit those materials, and those materials may not be your scope because you are from civil. Those may be from mechanical scope, electrical scope, or CCTV scope, or SCADA scope, or some other scope. You depend upon some other party, and that party also depends on other party. So it goes on and on. Question is, this should not stop. It should move so that they are happy. Okay, something is wrong. That's the purpose of meetings, which we continue. We may monitor what we are doing, what we are not doing, how much is balance or not balance. This two submittals, material submittal, and materials, all disciplines, and drawings. Drawings are top, you can say, because drawings which you are should with your bid are only scheme drawings. Scheme means you have to do this one, but you have to convert those drawings to detailed drawings. That's called working drawings or shop drawing. Fabrication drawings means you have to manufacture ductwork, for example, you have to fabricate piping or something else, which means that's a part of shop drawing. And working drawing on site, whatever drawing is used on site, that is called working drawing. Both drawings you have to prepare, and particularly for services it is required: electrical service, mechanical AC service, lift service, or some other service, gas service. All these are required: sanitary, water supply, gas, external works. You have to make drawings depending upon actual sizes, actual locations, avoiding all conflicts. Conflicts are very often in construction of buildings, and that is a purpose. That is a purpose where building has to give service to its structure forever, and there should no conflict in future. So we do practical work detailing those dimensions and sizes actually, and that should be done on site, and all these drawings must be approved in advance. No work can be started prior to these activities are done. Material, shop drawing are then very important, and in top of that are submissions of methods, which was not a convention in those times 25, 30, 40 years back, but now it's a convention. Method statements or construction procedures, without which you are not allowed to do activity on site. It must tell what you are going to do, and there's no hard and fast rule for that. It's up to you how do you want to work, which means it is according to requirement. That's called method statement. This is not conventional here in our country, but Maybe it is in their mind, whereas quality system says it has to be produced on paper so that everybody knows it, and that's what is there. I'll move further. So I again say a resident engineer shall observe performance of contract in early stages of contract during submission of materials and shop and working drawings, which naturally be carried out by agent. Agent shall also be judged by resident engineer way mobilization of site is carried out and site execution is carried out. Liaison is done with statutory bodies and contract construction program is submitted in due time as specified in contract conditions. Very important period of at least 2 months on site for contract commencement for agent to demonstrate capabilities and of administration and consolidating position which impart positively on contractor's status. Once regional engineer realizes that agent is rightly appointed by contractor, he may relax a little and contractor too, as headman available on site is reliable and right man for right job as management principle. In case agent doesn't come up to standards or expectations, it shall be a matter to worry of by resident engineer and contractor. Every resident engineer wants agent to keep him informed of developments through daily job records, DJR, daily job records or site diary, weekly programs, replies of site memos, progress reports, and similarly, agent expects resident engineer to be prompt to provide information and arrange for inspections in requested time. Both should be professionally sound to push work. Should an agent be experienced and well technically qualified, can train a new resident engineer or coordinator how to do job. Resident engineer should avoid commenting on agent as incompetent or fraudulent, on contractor or inefficient, as this shall help none on job. In case disputes do arise regarding work rejected and contractor does not want to take measures for rectification or remedial measures, resident engineer should ask agent to go to site with him, and on site, resident engineer should not speak, point out, but let agent inspect himself and comment whether rejection is okay or it's not okay. If agent himself says that workmanship is not to mark and promises to take remedial actions, or if asks resident engineer what is not to mark or what's done wrong, then resident engineer shall explain to agent about mistakes and ask whether agent is ready for remedial works. If agent doesn't agree or agitate, resident engineer shall not be excited, but just conclude that please think over and we shall take up matters some other time. Maybe agent propose some other measure. Please discuss that and try to be convinced what agent proposes and let him carry out at contractor's list. Failing all above, resident engineer shall have no choice left but to issue a remedial note for taking up correction of wrong items. Matter shall also be taken up to engineering case disputes continue, but resident engineer should remember that every day problems being tabled on engineer's desk shall annoy engineers a great deal and make him consider immaturity of both engineers, of contractor and resident engineer. Therefore, best solution is that minor dispute is solved on site as far as possible. As I said, that go to site and do this, inspect and issue remedial actions. This was old procedure. Now procedure is direct because quality system is there, quality control is there, quality person talks to people, issues NCR, non-compliance report, which is very dangerous. That is last option one has. Same thing this engineer of quality should do. try to resolve, and if water goes above nose, then NCR is there, which is a contractual document, impenalizing document. This remains open until remedial action is effected, duly approved, and if there is nothing as such, payment of that portion and all sequences above that follow-up are stopped. So it is very dangerous technically as well as financially. So do not take it lightly. NCR is legal document. It can hold your payment and then completion of project can be impacted upon. So be careful in that. Resident should not immediately react in case he finds agent making frequent mistakes. Resident engineer should not immediately react in case he finds agent making frequent mistakes or is incompetent. Should let him make mess of site and take note of that. Agent note of losses the agent made to contractor and then ask contractor confidentially that this is efficiency of your head on site. But this he should intimate much before to agent that mistakes be avoided. No contractor shall like earnings of so many losses, frequently due to staff and replaced by more competent person. Other side of picture should also be realized by resident engineer that agent be facing a lot of problems and not getting due support and backings from contractor and site staff, and also nobody appreciates efforts made by agent. And also resident engineer should not all time open specification books for showing to agent for reference, as agent also knows same, but it may amount to insulting agent and depreciates his honor. In fact, resident engineer should help agent as much as possible as he can do because he is person to pull job ahead on schedule. He is that person to anticipate problems to be faced. And way to find solution of problems. Agent shall not resent to meet resident engineer as and when required to discuss and solve problems, and to adhere to specifications for certain items of utmost importance, but shall expect to be relaxed on some items of no importance. So resident should interact with agent in a way neither too lenient nor too harsh. Other than resident engineers and agents interactions and cooperations, agent has to coordinate and interact with other specialists and consulting engineers, architect, structural engineers, civil works engineers, services engineers, and clerk of work or inspectors for pursuance of approval of submittals, proposals, and various other types of coordinations as desired according to duties of agent and to be accountable to decisions making and implementations on execution on site. Sometimes agent is so much personalized that resident engineer and consultants have so much trust in him that even contractors of no reliability and presence of agent and taking responsibility would help solve problems. Informations make to his informations make resident engineer dependent on long run, and his absence for a long time during vacation or his having gone for good is felt by resident engineer and staff. In fact, good agents having experience and dynamism keep resident engineer and consultants busy by making proposals and finding out discrepancies in drawings and requesting for clarifications and instructions and post-contract details. On various occasions, resident engineer and consultants shall find visitors mostly from contractor side with cheerful mood and with gifts to greet on day, but it is against professional conduct to accept gifts as it shall amount to acceptance of bribe indirectly for any future favor and unfair treatment towards honor as having accepted any or some gift or gratification. A resident here may not be impartial to his judgments on job and may lose trust. Once trust is lost, resident engineer shall be suspected all times. It's also not civil to refuse courtesy calls all time but on special occasions and should be celebrated within limits. Say a successful trying for victory on job, simple function of some kind such as opening of a site by contractor, celebration of some personal occasions such as child's birthday, marriage, resident staff birthday, or other ceremony or farewell party when someone departs from job for good or promotion of someone, etc., or some milestone achievement, and shall depend on common understanding of resident engineer and associated staff. If some of contractor site senior personnel seeks accompanying someone for personal drink or invites guys to his home on a personal level, shall also not amount to bribery. Actually, these actions do promote cooperation on site in interest of job. And another point is refreshments actually. In generally, tea, coffee, light refreshment on site are and must be included on contract. Because generally you cannot avoid tea, coffee, refreshments, light refreshment snacks on sites because sites are generally located in remote areas and how to drink, where to make it, it is generally a condition that this is expense on contract and must be a part of bid. Include this price that you have to support an engineer, resident engineer, or staff for stationery, for maintenance of office, for providing these refreshments on job. So this is not illegal if it is provided with the contract. If it is not provided, that you cannot consider as legal. So it happens. So this is a part of expenses of contract. In desert, you cannot find all this. Now, what I am going to tell is first documentation. Records to be kept in resident engineer's office, RE office. Let us start like this. Site memos issued to contractor or to agent, let's say contractor. Site memorandums issued to contractor. Site instructions issued to contractor. Daily job records from contractor to be recorded. Weekly program as received from contractor. Material submittals, approvals and recommendations and disposal to engineer. Shop drawings, submittals, approvals, recommendations and disposal to engineer. Engineer's instructions prepared and disposed to engineer for approval. Minutes of coordination and technical meetings. Minutes of progress review, monthly meetings, contract meetings. Abstracts of progress from all contractors and disposal to engineer. Intimation to contractors for various aspects on contract clause operations. Returned submittals to contractors after approvals. Records of various tests and inspections made by consultants. Internal communication with consultant. Communication with engineer. Communications with project design consultants. Specific records of detailed designs. Record of materials delivered to site and samplings. Measurements, records and valuations. Variation orders prepared under scrutiny and passed. Day work records of contractors. General coordinations among contractors' records. Correspondence with nominated subcontractors. Records of all consultants, personal files and staff records. Communication with head office. Communication with planning authority. Communication with statutory bodies. Communication with employer, owner, user. Communication with contractors' head office. Communication with contractors' agent. Communication with special advisor. Communication with special suppliers and contractors. Miscellaneous communications. Records as confidential files. Drawings, registers. This was technical documentation, you may say. This was record documents which are oriented for future evidences. Then let's go to financial files. current claims for main contractors, day work current claims, claims passed, day works and extras passed, engineer certificates and correspondences, variation orders passed, variation orders pending or in process of scrutiny, contractors' invoices and claims, additional works expenditures and miscellaneous files, and supervising records. Supervising records, inspectors' daily returns, site diary and weather records, residence engineer diary, weekly and monthly reports, instructions to contractors, sketches issued to contractors, remedial notes and memos for actions, complaints. These are various records, but not limited to this one. This they expanded further because these are old, such old titles. New titles have been there. NCR is there, and so many other approvals are there. Method disciplines are there, and so you can say whatever else. There will be reports or something else. Then many more are there. You can just you can understand and explain yourself. There's nothing to explain every time. Supervising records files, as I told you. Now site memo. What is site memo? It's a regular correspondence made by resident engineers regarding all matters occurring on site under contract. Maybe site work, it may be site work, may be submittal, may be mobilization and inspections or quality, may be material delivery, site instructions particularly given for addition, alteration, amendment, etc. within contract condition, and no cost variation as an extra. It can be treated invalid if not explicit, and agent may ask for a cost variation order before proceeding for execution of instructions. Daily job record. Agent submits every day complete activities and progress achieved on site, workforce available, machines available, materials delivered, and specials, if any, all to information to resident engineer and gets remitted back as approved. Weekly program. Agent sends a weekly program on last day of week to resident engineer for informations regarding intentions of agent for proposed activities next week. Submittals. Agent makes materials, shop drawings, submittals for formal approval of engineer, and after approval that is sent back to agent. Then engineer's instructions. Real instructions come from engineer's office regarding whatever additional work, alteration, omission, etc. constituting variations, and resident engineer has to prepare same for disposal to engineer's office for approval. Coordination and technical meeting. This meeting is held monthly or fortnightly or weekly and forms part of contract site meeting, and complete details of this meeting are technical and coordinations of all buildings disciplines, including allied services. Minutes are prepared by resident engineer or by contractor as case may be, and all matters regarding submittals, deliveries, progress, technical and non-technical disputes, financial matters, and correspondences, etc. are covered under chairmanship of resident engineer with assistance of project coordinator, and circulation of minutes is done to all related, and sometimes contractor does it. It depends on contract conditions or whatever agreement is between resident engineer and contractor. This is part of coordination. Then contract site meetings. Contract site meetings. This meeting is also held monthly or whatever frequency agreed depending on progress of project, and should be chaired by engineer, but generally conducted by resident engineer, and presents are those, say, coordinators, consulting engineers, contractors agent, coordinator, or site engineers. Not below that, a quantity engineers, owners, agent, etc. given privilege for attendance. Agenda Agenda includes complete progress review, different statuses, approvals, site problems, quality positions, and all other aspects related to contracts execution on site and recorded by both resident engineer or coordinator, and circulation of minutes to all related or relevant parties. Abstract progress review. Resident engineer reviews all progress reports as presented by agent or contractor and summarizes into an overall progress on job as whole and sends that to engineer with comments along with separate progress review of different phases of job to apprise engineer and owner for practical progress status of job and to take measures if found necessary. Intimation to contractors. Resident engineer has to intimate to agent from time to time should agent fail to operate different clauses of contract and prevent adverse effect on job. Returning submittals. Any submittal either rejected or approved has to go back to contractor promptly. No delay. No delay is accepted. Tests and inspection records. All tests and inspections carried out by inspectors, agents, consultants, whatever, are to be recorded in format of test reports from laboratories or from site. Internal communications. Resident engineer has to communicate to all consultants regarding all important matters and hold meetings from time to time. Similarly, consultants communicate with resident engineer to clarify, advise, and seek instructions. Communication with engineers. Resident engineer has to write a lot to engineer regarding development on site and what actions and instructions are necessary. This shall involve both technical and non-technical matters, as without getting clearances from engineer, resident engineer cannot issue instructions to a contractor. Communication with project designer. Resident engineer may write to designer for a particular problem directly or through engineer depending upon problem severity. Generally, clarification and design informations are required while to incorporate changes with special records of detailed design. If feasible, resident engineer should keep special design records of project to enable him to refer while necessity arises to save time, means design works, design calculations, design analysis could be available in resident engineer's office, material delivered to site and sampling. The resident engineer has to keep all records of materials delivered to site and get all samples from agent to match material to approved sample. Measurement records. All measurements taken on site should be recorded separately for reference. Variation orders. All copies of variation orders passed under preparation, etc., should be in comprehensive file. Day works records. All records of day works as presented by contractors and verified by inspector or COW should be filed for future reference on claims. General coordinations among contractors. All main contractors coordinate frequently through resident engineer or directly, whatever be case. Records submitted by them should be recorded, filed properly. Correspondences with nominated subcontractors. This is a special case where selected contractors works under main contractor. This record should be filed properly. Records of all consultants and staff. Approved CVs and track records of all consultants and staff should be filed separately and complete details enclosed. Communication with head office. Resident engineer has to correspond with head office from time to time for intimating contract status and progress to apprise head consultants head. Communication with planning authorities. Not done very frequently, but whatever be contents of recorded properly. Communication with statutory bodies. All correspondence made to government bodies or organizations regarding commencement of contract, record drawings or execution of services, handing over, diversion, etc. should be recorded properly. Then communication with employer may be sometimes done and proper records made subject to engineer being advised. Contractor's head office. Generally, matters related to contract shall be communicated to head office of contracting company from engineer's office to be recorded properly. Contractor's agent. All communications from and to contractor's agent be recorded properly. Communication with specialist advisors. Resident engineer may directly receive letters from specialist advisors or sent to them through engineer or else all should be recorded properly. Communication with specialist supplier. Sometimes a consultant may like to verify some technicalities of material to be supplied by. All this type of correspondence should be recorded. Then miscellaneous communication not included in foregoing record should go into this record, that's called miscellaneous. Then confidential files shall depend on resident engineer how to utilize this record. Then drawing register, very important document for registration of all drawings issued to contractors from beginning to completion of contract. Then financial files, as mentioned, are all maintained by quantity engineers, surveyors, sections, and called for whenever required by resident engineers or engineers. Supervision record. Description of all mentioned records given in previous explanation and not worth mentioning here. Again, and of course, self-explanatory. Now, formats for file for following standards record have been given in preceding pages. And these formats are engineers instruction, minutes of technical and coordination meeting, minutes of contract site meeting, abstract of project report, remedial note, confidential letter from engineer to contractor, variation order, snagging list, day works, progress chart graphs, various correspondences for completions issue between engineer and contractor, site clarification, general inspection request, concrete pour inspection request, daily job record, accident report. These documents which we have just referred to are all important, and it takes time, energy to concentrate on them for recording purpose. And these documents means are not only for recording only. These are for very important purpose. First of all, this will become part of dossiers. Dossiers means when you close a project, you apply for completion to engineer. These dossiers will be required per quality system. These dossiers and all others all others, whatever on project. These will form permanent record of project for purpose of maintenance and for purpose of record only in future. Just like we have to submit all drawings back, we have to give all documents back in form of as-built professional documentation. These formats will also be in same way constitute part of post completion documents or record documents for that operator or owner whose project is this. This would be for future use, and also if there's question of arbitration, issue of arbitration or dispute resolutions, or even for some court case, there's a limit to Limitation Act, and you have to submit this documentation when required by court, or if there's some investigation team commission charted out for some problems, these documents would support. These documents, of course, this would be in electronic format as well as hard copies. Hard copies do not work for long. Electronic discs would be prepared for all such, and whatever number of discs are required would be given to engineer at handover time. And only more than what I have stated here, depending upon what sort of job is that works. And in future, this is used for maintenance purpose also, for purpose of dispute resolutions, and purpose of lessons learned documentation. Because there will be errors, there will be NCRs, there will be so many, so we have to learn a lesson to improve your knowledge, which shall also be done. Now, many documents I formatted in, showed to you. Now, this is a document that is engineer's instruction. I'll just show you this one here. This is a ordinary format of engineer's instruction. Number is there, and you can see reference and format and language is there, script is there. Shall read for your benefit, but just for your information. It's very simple. There's many amendments on this, and you can amend according to your, because you can customize it to your requirement. There's no problem to that. And I read it for you. I've written here: employer's, owner or user, engineer's instruction number is, reference, date, and name of contractor, job reference. Simple it is. Job reference or contract reference. You are instructed to carry out following works as included inside instruction number this, date, one building, second building, third building, omit item, add RCC, delete RCC, whatever it is you can write. Please submit your variation immediately. Signature to engineer, signature resident engineers, and copy to owner, resident engineer, contractor, quantity engineer for adjustments files. This format clearly exhibits that engineer's instruction can be issued jointly for contents of number of site instructions, but site instructions shall be issued separately for every instruction, and with reservation of contractors will wish to do job in case that instruction constitutes a cost variation, but in engineer's instruction, contractor has been left with no choice but to carry out per contract condition. Contractor shall propose claims on basis of that engineer's instruction only. Site instructions shall be issued immediately for immediate execution of job, and contents shall be similar, but engineer's instructions shall take considerable time for being released by engineer, but generally clearance for variations are given on basis of site instructions to avoid waste of time. This is engineer section. Nowadays there are changes also, change on contracts, changes, they call it changes in oil projects. They generally don't use this variation, they call changes, and changes have to be worked out and submitted accordingly. So its terminology is nothing to do with specific terminology. Then there's the minutes of meeting format, which I'll just show. This minutes of meeting, and just for your information, I'll depict it right in This is project needs a meeting, and you can see that some references are included on top, and then who are present there in that meeting, names are given, and then you can say I'll go to other one. I'll explain to you and just see how it works. And it continues, and there's another one. The same page continues. So I'll speak this one, read this one now. Resident engineer consultant department, this is your minutes of meeting. Here's reference number and date, name of work is there, budget reference, contractor, contract reference, venue. Subject coordination and technical meeting, number this, and apologies column is there. If somebody is unable to come, you can write this apology if received. So, and then you can say presents are present, name, label, representing. Then you can say resident engineer, coordinator, the label resident engineer representing engineer, coordinator representing resident engineer consultant, the mechanical engineer representing same, electrical engineer representing same, plumbing engineer representing same, the contractor agent, contractor representing contractor, coordinator same contractor, senior site engineer, services engineer same contractor, electrical engineer subcontractor, mechanical engineer subcontractor, plumbing engineer subcontractor, specific services engineer, special services engineer, special subcontractor, and apologies as shown above may be taken in description of minutes or as above, and then distribution of these minutes to all those presents, all subcontractors through main contractor, engineer, owner for information, quantity engineer of resident engineer, inspector, and file. This is format on first page, you can say, or abstract format. Then technical, it is a start down, number, description, action. In number, apology same, last minutes to be agreed last minutes, then materials starts. Details of material submittals. Discipline is there, discipline columns is discipline, total number, submitted, approved, balance, remark. Plumbing, for example, they write total number of material submittals, how many submitted, how many approved, how many balance. This is for all plumbing, electrical, mechanical, and whatever else is there. Then details of major materials to be given as mentioned in internal coordination meetings of technical and coordination meeting conducted by agent. Then drawings, details of drawings, similarly plumbing, electrical, whatever else, the total number, submitted, approved, balance, remarks. And then actions. This is a long procedure. It's not simply in 1 minute you can do it. You have to consider all hundreds of metals are there. Maybe 50, 60 drawings are there, hundreds of drawings of private discipline there. So you have to consider each and so it takes a lot, it takes many hours sometimes. And details of major drawings to be given as mentioned in internal coordination minutes of technical and coordination meeting conducted by agent. Now this was materials and drawings. Now come to progress. It includes program also. Discipline wise details to be given. Same discipline, program progress. Now question schedule progress of program progress why you planned, an actual progress, and why you are ahead or behind your right remarks as well as facts. Ahead or it is behind, all electrical, mechanical, plumbing, or whatever else. So this is also time consuming. You have to be ready for that. Then reason for delay. Electrical, mechanical, all there's a delay or no delay. You have to give reasons. And then remedial measures. Electrical, mechanical, plumbing, same or whatever else. Actions on site memos and instructions. Give complete references to memos and instructions and actions taken on them by related people to be in action, included in action. So you have to see what actions were done or not done and what happened to site memos that you received and instructions were received. There may be hundreds of site memos. You have to clear everyone You have to know you cannot curb these, you cannot just keep them down and sit on them. If you sit on them, you shall find problems in future. It should be clear, clear and clear. Do not forget any memo. You have to close that for your safety. Then technical and coordination. In this take all points related to electrical, mechanical, plumbing, etc., and may other many other any other coordination necessary one by one for actions and decisions. This portion of meeting shall form major part of technical and coordination matters being discussed and shall generally involve all major parts to contract. Then financial discussions for extras, deletions, additions, etc., or any other business discussion, whatever else is required, and fixed next meeting made. This is copied, signed by regional engineer, project coordinator, and if done by contractor, signed by contractor. This is very long meeting in beginning as well as continuous, because there are many problems, many issues, and it takes knowledge. If you are conducting the meeting as contractor person or engineers person, you have to be clear about everything. You have to be update. You have to must have an update on all submittals, because you have to go one by one to surf on that. There may be hundreds materials, there may be hundreds of drawings, and you have to talk of each. In beginning, there may be 10 or 15, but at later stage, you may have all. So there could be different problems on all these submittals, and there will be many which approved with comments. There will be many, and you cannot take it for granted because approved with comments will go to no, you have to resubmit that. There is rejection first. Rejection means complete gone. You have to do it again. And there is then approved, which means completely you have submitted. It's done. That's approved. And approved with comments is also there, which means it is allowable. You are allowed to continue, but you have to finally submit it duly. Duly, you can say incorporated by comments made, or you have to clarify comments were not correct. So these stages must be understood. Whatever submittal is there must be approved finally. Approved seal must be there. Approved acceptance must be there. That's purpose of submittal. And if you do not get it approval, you cannot procure it. If you don't have approval of that material, there is no way to place order for that. And that is the reason that you have to intensively go behind these approvals, material submittals and their follow-up approvals, because you have to place procurement order. These are all permanent materials, permanent inclusions that will constitute your project, will form part of your project. And that's very important. Drawings or materials or whatever, these until this stage is over, this approvals of all this, you should not sit down. You have to be a strong force behind yourself and keep engaged consultants. They must be given job every day by agents, smart agents, that keeps them busy. So that if they are too busy, they will be in office and you will enjoy on site, to be very frank. And if once all this over, they will come to sites and keep off that. In that case, then we'll go to contract site building. Let's see format first, better. Still not very clear. I don't know, because it's old one. And my publisher is not very happy with this book because this is not working very well. What can I do then? It's technical work. They want money immediately, but this book is working in Africa actually, not much, but people are interested there because there is not much information available, and our people are great. They have knowledge of everything. So, what to do? No comments on that. I will speak about this. and I'll show you next page before moving on further explanation. That I have to move to that page so that the detailed information. I'll read it out. This is minutes of meetings, contract site meetings, engineer, department engineer, owner, department issued from them, minutes of meeting, contract site meeting number, contract reference, date and references, name of work, and presents the same. These are presents. Who are presents label? The label is and representation is engineer or resident level, project coordinator, architectural engineer or architect, structural engineer, full or partly, other consultants, contractors agent, contractor coordinators, senior site engineer, quantity engineer, and they represent their parties, means engineer representation, contractors representation, etc. And when I say full or partly, this means sometimes they stay only for half an hour or 10-15 minutes to an extent their portion is concerned. And where we can write full, why to waste their time? When their role is over, their part is over, they can leave that doing. Therefore, I say full or partly, and it can apply to whosoever is there. And this is distribution, engineer, owner, contractor, those present, staff for contract file. So again, for your information, repeat, engineer is there or resident engineer is there for representation of owner. If owner is not present, project coordinator represents the engineer's representative, architectural engineer represents engineer's representative, structural engineer represents engineer's representative, other consultants, engineer representative, contractor's agent, contractor representative, contracts coordinator, contracts representative, senior site engineer, what I also contracts representative, and distribution I have told them. What's the format? Now, number is there, description is there, election is there. Say, let us say apology if any, you have to record. Agreement on last meeting minutes, you have to agree that, and then you can move further. Then progress. Record in this portion percentages of various activities as agreed with contractor's agent during meeting or little before that. This shall be a long sheet as to cover all items accordingly. All complete status of activity shall also be recorded. Maybe ahead or delays are there or behind is there. So what columns here? Program is there. Building A, building B, building C, building D, or whatever is there on your schedule, you have done it. And what activity, which activity you want to write in this? All activity you cannot write, only activities that have moved, you write all those activities. Then programmed, what was percentage for program planned and schedule, and what you achieved, percentage this progress percentage this month, and progress percentage last month. And then this is ahead or behind according to schedule that you have to work out. Then continue till all programs are covered up in format. Then abstract of progress versus program. The abstract you have to give all same ABCD buildings or branches. Then program percentage was this, actual percentage is this, actual progress percentage, and ahead or behind it is this much. This is very simple, I am just telling you. Don't go too deep what program says or this is just for your information, you have to do that. And continue till building or program is completed. Overall statement you have to give, contract is behind, a contract is so many percent completed, against this so many percent programmed, revealing the lag of so many weeks, or ahead or behind. Then remedial measures, records remedial measures in case of progress behind or being lagging behind to recover per program as suggested or agreed by contractor or agent and accepted by resident engineers. Is before this question is again by party, employer or resident engineer, how shall we recover that? Don't allow them any chance, just give your solution in advance so that your eyes are open, your mind is open, you do not depend upon their suggestions, or why should they ask for, I can give before. Then let's say services brief. Just incorporate major abstract of technical and policy meeting held last. A same shall form part of this meeting for submittals and progress. So just services brief, you have to tell them in this meeting this happened and that happened, all that. And materials. In this portion, all details of various building materials approved, pending for approval, rejected, delivered, expected time of arrival, and delivery problems, if any, alternatives proposals, if any, all per material status submitted by contractor shall be included. This is a material explanation, long document, many pages, and many columns and rows, you can say. Then work person's workforce. This was materials. Yeah, that's called material status. We should submit that. Materials submission, approval status, and delivery status, and like that. Work person workforce from for report of agent, record number of work people on site, which shall tally with resident engineers on record. Machines record all as given in agent's report duly ratified. Then contract matters. All matters covered in contract for purpose of operations of contracts files. Contracts part. Finances. In this part are covered valuation details of job, extras, additions, non-payments, problems, day works, and all remaining issues shall be recorded. Then quality, record consultants and specialist reports on quality and contractors' response on that and action to be taken. Structural, all problems related to structures. Architectural, all related matters. Allied services, all related matters. Information required, whatever information you seek on project, you can demand in this video, right? Clarification and last meeting, any other business. In this, you can also include safety, which is very important, or something else so required. Then next meeting, date and this, and signatures of engineer, coordinators, or whatever else is there. It's not necessary that the engineer should sign this minute. It's not necessary, but better you sign. It's not necessary that engineer shall sign this minute for purpose of circulation. Resident engineer and project coordinator would do. An abstract of progress for complete job in to be completed by resident engineer for attention on engineer and owner. Abstract can be there. Let us say from ICU. It's a performer here down in this. The top one. This is top one. This is I showed you before. So in this name of work, budget reference, date of start, numbers there, contractor, then contract duration days, time elapsed days, program, progress, and add behind remark. And include all phases and related details. Overall statement, give statement contract wise to let owner and engineer be apprised fully of job. In comments, comment on progress contract wise, and problems, if any, for attention of engineer and earlier, and then see. This report shall go from RE office, resident engineer's office. All right. Then now resident engineer is issuing a remedial note to contractor, which is now called NCR, but I'm just going to show you one previous one, and it's this one. And what it reads? It reads, remedial note number this date and contact and reference. Please rectify following mistakes as noted on site. Serial number, building A, building B, etc. Column is out of plumb, give grid reference. The floor is not in correct slope, refer grid. Say slab development cracks, refer to grid. The walls not correctly concreted, demolish that, refer grid. Said work shall be reconstructed, demolished, dismantled, be remedied as follows. And this is instruction from that. Resident engineer, copy to engineer owner, and project owner. Now it says that quantity engineer of resident engineer, what it says, this remedial note shall remain in force. This remedial note shall remain in force till remedial actions are carried out, and payment shall not be released for items included. Remedial work carried out. After that, contracts agent inspection sheet done, fully approved, means it is release of this note. When you do comply with, then says inspected and approved, remedial note number this is released, resident engineer payment to be released, they sign it. So this is, once you open it, means it's NCR. Instead of remedial note you can write NCR, you can do details of what you want to say, and then you give a number of that, and you wait for action from contractor. Whether the contract does it or doesn't do it, and if does it, what's the how when is going to record remedial action, remedial note, and issue a clearance to that one that's approved. That's the purpose of provisional note A or NCR is. Now, there's a confidential communication. Engineer is writing to his contractor. What does it say? Actually, very simple letter. It's nothing to do with very difficult. It's just a specimen type. I'll read for you. This is contract and contract, the same address, the job is there, sir. My resident engineer for said job has reported that your site engineer, your site agent, any other responsible person blank blank has created a lot of nuisance on site and deemed inexperienced to present job requirements, responsibility, and we do not want to delay contract as considered a considerable time is being wasted under supervision of incumbent personnel in carrying out remedial works from time to time. It's also in your interest to save losses done or definitely would be done. We shall no more treat him as competent, responsible personnel in level appointed by you. Please take necessary action to deploy additional personnel in void in this position, as approval of incumbent stands invalid now with immediate effect. Thanks, engineers, and copy to original engineer for information, site configuration file owner and contact personnel. This letter is very rare, means not necessary, but if it is required, you should know. You can just even reduce that language to some better one, because generally it is done in meetings actually, not the written letters, but maybe in meetings they say take this action. Now this is a variation order number issued from engineer, and just read that. Date, job, budget reference, contract reference, amount involved in this variation order, total contract cost, reference to instructions, EI number or engineer section number, a variation of additional or deductible cost of this much inwards this much for instructed work. Consideration is approved for condition of contract clause number this. Final cost of contract after inclusion of cost involved in this variation order comes to a value of this inwards this. Engineer, regional engineer, copy to owner, contractor, regional engineer, quantity engineer, and files. This is that. So for each variation, each item deviation, this instruction or change should be recorded. This said cost is finalized in variation order shall depend upon details given by contractor's agent or QS or quantity surveyor and verified by resident engineers QS, and figures arrived in agreement by both certified by resident engineers shall be considered for inclusion in variation order. Variation order. We go to snagging formats. Snags, if they also call punch list. We use snags or punch lists are the same thing. Means deficiencies, snags format, which is deficiencies you may say when you inspect something. What I'm trying to say is we should not say only nowadays they are doing system quality. Previously also systems were done, but was the formal name. All these details I'm giving you are not covered in quality system, and quality system has given the name means this is system, that is system. But previously also, but no separate staff were there. Only professionals who used to work as site engineers. Although they used to do all this, but without any separate name or separate rules and regulations. That is called the ISO 9001 2015 and other you can say names such programs or such. Snagging format of punches can say building and drawing, reference, etc. Serial number, room number, work. Builder work is there, plumbing work and electrical work and mechanical work and air conditioning work and finishes and console and auto work. Whatever work is there, you can just extend to that one. CCTV work, building manager work, gas work, or whatever specific activity is there. You can all take into in points and say this room number. You have to write that builder work. This item means you have to give a builder's room report. What is done in room? You can say that. For example, I'm giving you serial number 1, room 15, builder work completed, plumber work done, electrical work fittings incomplete, mechanical work blank, air conditioning work grills not fixed, finishes touch up not done, consultant's remark no means this is not ready. Same way, another one is 2, room is set 21, builder work okay, plumbers work okay, you mean to done, electrical work okay, mechanical work okay, air conditioning work okay, finishes okay, customer's remarks okay. This means this room is during snagging inspection, this room is complete or done. So there's nothing left in this room. Same way you have to move on whole site one by one, building by building, room by room, and inspect all this in all disciplines. There could be installation of CCTV, there could be installation of fire suppression, there could be FM200, there could be something else, whatever is there, and you could be building management system or other systems. You have to do all this with all your specialists and write them and carry on till all items or rooms are completed, and then you have to sign resident engineer, project coordinator. This is called snagging or means a deficient work as well as punch list you must say, and this is very important one. All right, then we go to day work. Day work, as I explained, means when there is no unit payment, nothing, then only solution is day work. Now what's day work is that means this form, it says name of work, correct, contract and contractor, reference to instruction section. There must be some instruction because this decision had to be given by resident engineer to contractor, both must agree. So serial number, then description item, the unit per quantity, hours, rate, cost. And let's say removal of existing girder of RS joist, removal of existing girder of rolled steel joist, mobile crane. What's mentioned? Mobile crane is engaged there. Mobile crane 30 metric ton with operator. This is one number for 6 hours. Foreman assistant one number 6 hours. Semi-skilled workmen 4 numbers of 6 hours. Then welding steel rods is to existing braces, welder 1 number for 2 hours, helper 1 number for 2 hours. And similarly, enter all other details as necessary. This is just example. There can be many more details. The site agent have to finalize this, sign this, and COW coordinator resume. This is submission of every day, and this then later on we can apply rate, fill rate, and cost, and submit that one. Or we can just get the certificate of hours and quantity, and after that we can submit total valuation of that. Then there's a progress chart, which is on x-axis months is given, on y-axis percentage of work done is given. Then there is one programmed one, is progress one, and this is called very ordinary progress chart. Now it's computerized one, but it's not computerized one. This was just made bad control project, you can say. When progress is lower, program is higher, so of course it is bad control project. You cannot say good project is that, but this is just reflection, you know. You can see program and progress both. Program is higher and progress is down, so it is lagging project, not online. It's far behind, and you can see this was 18 months, and you can see progress of that, what percentages, and this is, you can say, kind of comparison of S curve. Both are S curve, part S curves. Now, then the other one in the same is continuous, is a good control one. I'll show you good control work, same thing in good control work. You can see both as lines of schedule or program and progress are just near each other. Means hidden tolerance, some is down, some is up, some is down, some is up, which is practical means. But root, you see, it's on same, you see it's online. You can say it's little this way, little that way, which is a measurable question. But this is agreeing with plan one. Execution one is agreeing with plan one. That's the point here. And what's written here? I'll show you one more chart here before going further. Building wise, if you say it is a combination of various buildings, I'll speak of that. It is, you know, buildings are there and various so let's read out down. Program charts. Program and actual progress on site are projected on graphs or chart as time in month versus percentage of progress. Accordingly, according to program approved, proposed graph is depicted building wise and an overall percentage as agreed in contract meeting based on progress report is depicted on graph for running month, which shall clearly reveal status of contract and project, either lagging behind or going ahead. Now, should you see combined chart of all buildings programs schedule wise, the depicted shown dotted lines indicating that actual progress falls short of program. When dotted line time crosses below program curve at time, while it goes up in case actual progress crosses program line and travels above that. For good control progress, generally actual graph of progress dances around program and is considered fine as chances of recovery shall be high. Similarly, you can see Another graph wherein good control project in overall program versus program progress graph. Let us see another graph wherein from beginning of project of delays comes in and continues till time of project lapses, and definitely such job shall be a couple of months behind schedules and uncontrollable. Recovery is really impossible. Recovery is really impossible in such a case. It's a clear case where contractor did not make attempt to recover, and either employer consultants be lenient. If employer be strict, contractor should be squeezed by engineer and employer. Then so contractor to correspond to engineer for getting practical completion. This is something means you can first read, then see this format. Let's say you have reached a stage where you claim that your work is nearly complete physically, mechanically. On building projects, we call it practical completions, whereas on oil projects, they call it mechanical completion, but both have same meaning. Contractor to correspond to engineer for getting practical completion is from contractor's office, address to engineer, subcontract job title, sub practical completion. Says that following complete works in scope of this contract are ready for practical completion with effect from this per contract documents in all respects. We request you to make arrangements to take over completed works formally. Joint inspection with resident engineers and related employer, agent of employer has been held and snaggings remedied for purpose of use to satisfaction of resident engineer and employer's agent or employer. Works you have to define, then you have to define resident engineers, employers, quantity engineers, consultants and record. This copy should go to this and details be recorded there, and then you have to read reference number in daily job. Then next one is engineer, what engineer answers regarding practical completion. You have to see what it says. Simple statement. This is not very big one. It just says address to contractor, reference date, etc. Works included in scope of above conduct have been inspected by me along with employer and resident engineer. We are pleased to grant practical completion with effect from this, and last date of maintenance shall be plus 400 days. Please make sure that the effects of minor nature as enlisted are rectified within a period of 2 weeks as agreed. And copies to resident engineer, quantity engineer, honor record files. Then correspondence for final completion, which contract shall write. See, final completion means maintenance period is over. That's why I talk of final completion. What is that correspondence? Engineer, contract writes to engineer, address to engineer, contract, job title, final completion. Simple it is. Maintenance period of above contract shall expire on this date. Please issue final completion certificate as there are no construction defects experienced during maintenance period, and contractor, the copied employer, resident engineer, etc. Then answer from engineer is there, and that answer you have to see same type of answer. I'll do it for you. Address to contractor, final completion, reference and reference number, your letter this. As requested by you and final inspection has been carried out and defects in closures have been given in details on work constructed by you. Please carry out remedial works to enable inspections at the annual and let me know about progress of remedial. This is now also means issue. It says, as required by you, final inspection has been carried out and defects are enclosed, and this must be cleared out. Given in details on works considered by you. Please carry out remedial works to enable reinspection at an early date, and let me know you about the progress of remedial works, rectification of defects to be satisfaction of resident engineer. Then contractor writing. So what contract writing final completion? I'll just read first. Contract writes. So engineer says final completion. There are some with your reference as well. Major defects as included in enclosed list are developments due to wear and tear, but other defects which are clear due to as have been remedied, is rectified, and resident engineer has inspected and signed Gary as enclosed. Please be kind enough to issue final completion certificate at so copy signed by contractor, copy to honor resident engineer, quantity engineer. And it says that completion of maintenance and contract completion. This is to certify that said contract number this has been completed fully and in all respects per contract documents as well as conforming drawings and specifications and successful performance of period of maintenance for 400 days. No penalties of any kind, no any kind have worked. This is certified that said contract number this has been completed fully and in all respects for contract documents as well as conforming drawings and specifications and successfully performance of period of maintenance for 400 days. No penalties of any kind have been imposed on contractor or contract as extension of this days has already been granted to contractor for delayed period. This certificate shall be treated as completion certificate of contract except for items which provide guarantees for fixed period of 5 years and bank guarantee for securing same clause has already been given by contractor. Wish you all the best. Honor quantity. This is that one. Here he is mentioning of fixed warranties that can be for anything, that can be for waterproofing system of roof, that can be for some other system which involves guarantee. It can be. Or there can be other guarantees also for whatever item if it's part of contract. So that can be done that way. And we'll go further down the next one, and that is site clarification. Let us see first. Let's see the site clarification as a general inspection because both are there. Site clarification, contract section, contractor, date, here are written, contents for which clarification start. I'm leaving blank here, but you can write whatever it is. You can write this drawing states this, and that drawing states this, architectural drawing states this, structural drawing states this, or solution drawing states this. There is some conflict seen, clarify which is correct, or you give your proposal, this we add or let them confirm. It's like that. I have written many hundreds of site clarifications are required on jobs, and means conflicts are to be resolved, you can say, wrong misconceptions to be removed. That's called site clarification. Drawing is speaking something is not existing, so only responsible person is designer. That requires that gives clarification to question. Then Residentia says details of clarification are given in this space. Means our space was question and his space was answer, and then sign it and deliver it to you. You get from them duly clarified. Now this performance shall be utilized purely for site clarifications. Purposes are in case of misunderstanding in drawings or in other documents of BOQ, and not for any claims. Based on this, no claims can be raised because this is technical subject, technical matter. There's no way out that you can depend upon this to raise claims. Then general inspection request, which is very common, and it is contract number, contractor, date, discipline, element, sections. Please inspect following. Site engineer, site agent, time of site engineer, site agent signs, time of inspection is, date of inspection is that. And you have to learn by which grid, which area, which building, what item is required, that you can write in that. And that's all. Then resident engineer says inspection comments shall be carried in space, writing some comments here or not comments here, then approved, rejected, approved with comments. Both are there. Whatever they rejected they can do, approved they can do, approved comment they can do. 24 hours shall be required to advance this notice, or it is 24 hours shall be required in advance for this general inspection request to be received in RE office or resident engineer's office. Then concrete pour inspection request, that is major part on construction projects where framing of RCC is involved, and that is this old document. New one is same, but some form is there, some tables are there, additional information are there. I read for you. This is that form. And we are getting tired, so let's start to go. So we have to leave after a few minutes. If you are getting also tired, it's Sunday and maybe you are sleeping, so you are asleep. Anyway, concrete for inspection request. Contractor, element, section, position of allied services, details of inspection to be made, then date, concrete grade, OPC, SRC, or others, quantity means. This is tough. And then there was a details of checklist to be inspected by consultant, also by site agent. Machines for concrete raising, what machines you are going to use. You may use mobile pumps, you may use a tower crane, or you may use some winch or something. Machines for concrete raising, the equipments for concrete handling, details of concrete vibrators, details of compressors or generators, details of work person to be engaged, details of technical staff to be deployed on concreting supervision, details of trade parts, persons who support pour, details of curing arrangements, details of curing compound water for concrete curing, details of tools specifically needed for concrete finishes, arrangements for concrete site sample tests, order of pour to be depicted on in enclosed drawing, details of construction joints as agreed to be agreed, timings, adjustments of pour, concrete order placed to be placed, other details, site engineer, site agent, approved rejected committee, approved rejected comments, and copy to COW, structural consultant, project coordinator. All these are responsible, and it requires 48 hours notice for this purpose. 48-hour notice shall be required for inspection of structural concrete pours. This is very common, but it is form, means If you establish relations and you can work together with consultant, this may be no strict action on 48. Means there's a flexibility in practical life, not in theory. In theory, it will be 48 hours. Means this is law of the quantum regulation. They say that you have to do this one notice because those people are busy or they have to see this drawing. They come only after preparations. But it's 48 hours, and you can add many more to that concreting. You can add how you do that. Means your part of sketch you can include it this big one, and you also supported the method statement that I said, how you should do this, which is very important. Convincing document means you are ready for that. Means you have agreed this is my method, this is my procedure. Means I will go this way and I will not go other way, and that you have to do. In fact, in reality, it's not simply document; it's to be done on site. Let's say daily job record. Daily job record. Well, now main contractor saying on daily report, contract, job title, date, contract reference, work persons available on site, technical, non-technical, tradesperson, general, total, materials arrived, materials removed, machines arrived, machines removed, machines or equipment you can say. What is weather? Temperature in morning, noon, end of day, humidity, general. Details of activities in run, completed, started, and with approximations in quantities to be given. If otherwise, details of activities for next day plan, details of all machines available on site in working order and idlings if any, visitors to site, inspections held and tests if any, accidents if any, general, and then site is in science and recorded. Verification by COW, inspectors, and project coordinator, register and proceed. Similarly, agents shall receive daily job record from subcontractors in standard format of subcontractors' daily job record duly signed by representative and enclose them with main contractor's report pro forma duly verified for contents. This report shall be kept as a permanent record for job in resident engineer's office as well as contractor's office for reference. Now, I think let us take one or two more form and we'll close it. That is form. It's accident report form. Accident report form it is. Maybe this is a different one these days, but basics is same because this is related to insurances also, and we have to take all those factors into our consideration. Accident report form, performer. Contract, job title, contract reference, date, reference to sections in contract site, date of accident, name of victim, details of victim's employment, status of injury, name of site supervisor, supervisors in charge, name of site engineer, action taken by contract immediately. Contract what says? Details of information communicated to insurance agencies, benefits as required per labor law by victims, survivors in case of death, police report if recorded with complete details of FIR and actions any of employee or whatever employee of contractor under arrest on bail, assistance sought to be rendered by resident engineer for mediation, future safety measures are augmentation required, give recommendations given by site safety specialist, time by which contractor shall arrange measures, duration by which operations shall be effected, and other general safety measures in addition to this in action on site. Then site agent signs the pro forma for records of infrastructural chambers which shall be installed in sewerage system, water supply system, or miscellaneous. So this is report which is long procedure you have to do if your person is admitted. Admitted to hospital, and you have to write about that also every day, daily, what the status of the patient, what support you are giving, what's required, and how insurance agencies are working for him. All this means follow up. Means this was the original one. That's about technical checks during inspections, and this is for general items. I'll give you a glimpse of the first and the talk of that, and I'll close after this because this is general items. This is contract same, contract reference, reservation reference to discipline, section, standard reference, date of inspection record, and contents are technical checks during inspection. Description of chamber, let us say any chamber, number of connections coming in. This is regarding a chamber. Say chamber means manhole. Description chamber, number of connections coming in, references to inlets, references to chamber this connection leads to, reference to chamber this connection comes from, sizes of chamber and details of shape, external top finish level of cover, invert level of cover of chamber, finish ground level of surroundings, details of benching or other finishes, details of loadings and side finishes, details of access to base of chamber, reference and details included in contract documents, contract delays, variations if any, and 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 reason for same, comments at time of testing, comments after remittal of observations after test and final clearance. Then agent, senior specialist, resident engineer, or from judicial department, municipality, taken over, handed over, testing and commissioning of building services system as contractors. So this is regarding testing and commissioning of at home. And then it is another one is regarding commissioning and test. Just a glimpse of this first. This is a formula, a form. I'll read it for you and then close this. This is engineer. A contract, this says job title, reference, subcontractor, discipline, section, design requirements for specifications. Date of commissioning for test, name of engineer representative present at time of start, name of contractor agent representative at time of start, date of last day of test, details of test specification, test specific observations during month test period of commissioning, serial numbers. Then day one you can say description of machine with daily average performance and comments by specialist, acceptable standard yes or no, remark, and carry out table till complete testing and commissioning is accomplished per detailed specifications and contract conditions. Then agent representative, senior service engineers or discipline service engineers, resident engineers, the representative from statutory department municipality. This is your general formats. After that, I'll start talking about certain more activities, and this is 100 pages of book I've covered up, more will cover up. These formats are not necessary you have to use like this, but you can design your own formats depending on your site conditions, site designs, site drawings, conditions, what type of activities are carrying on. Not necessary, but guidance is there. You can go through that and find your way how to solve problems and how to record them, how to document them, because your records must be speaking. It should tell everything. No need calling you. Your record should tell this was transpired, this was done on works, and that is called proficiency, and that's called profession. Because why to consult you every time, and why you should consult someone every time when documents are available? Documentation is strength of project that mandates project was done according to requirements, according to standards. And if documents are not available, you can only see project, you cannot understand what was there. So there are thousands of documents on a project, and that is called dossiers. You have to convert them to dossiers for project, and that would require a time of handover, a time of closing of project, and these documents shall be ready for those persons who operate this project or they use it, or whoever is responsible for that maintenance and future. That person shall read all this, understand all this, and if required some investigation is done, something is done, these documents will help investigator also. That's the purpose of this. Means Documentation, of course, is behind scenes. Workers don't know, staff don't know, but it is done. And that is very much important to declare that project has been done according to contract. According to contract means contract has been performed, and then based on that you can say contract has been discharged once final completion is given. And I'll continue with some more technicalities next one. And with this, I close this, and thank you very much to all the engineers, whoever is there and would see this in future in time. And thanks again, all of you. Dhanyavad.